Could you
Hi,
please?
everyone. So welcome to the Stepfamily International panel discussion. And today we want to talk about what to do when a stepchild becomes disrespectful. So our members here are going to each answer the question in a few minutes and tell their approach to dealing with this conversation. So let's start with Jeannette. Jeannette Lopez, Dr. Jeannette Lopez, let's talk about being disrespectful.
Well, I was the most disrespectful stepchild you could imagine. Every time my father had some sort of lady over, I would do something that would send her flying. But that was my way of getting rid of her because I wanted to be with my dad, and this is my dad and not anyway. So the kid being disrespectful now is something like, I don't have to do what you say because you're not my mother. I don't have to do what you say. And so then, and we don't have any recourse. So the recourse is when the kid is disrespectful is to really talk to the biological parent and say, we need to have some rules here about talking about stuff. And sometimes the kid being disrespectful is just trying to get rid of the step person. And that's normal, that's classic. But disrespect, says the father, for my wife is not acceptable. If my wife were purple and had green hair, you have to be respectful toward her because she is my wife. So this is, and I'm going to be monitoring because I'm teaching you how to be a young lady or young gentleman. And we don't talk that way. And we don't talk that way in the family. And I love you. That's what the biological father says. And together, the team now, the stepmother and the biological father make up some rules for this house. And the stepmother says, hey, your dad and I have agreed to this rule, blah, blah. We look people in the eye when we're talking. We say hello, goodbye, please, and thank you. Almost in the first session with people, I'll give them these 4 things. Okay, here's what you're doing in your family. 1, you're saying hello, goodbye, please, and thank you. We're looking people in the eye when we talk. We allow others to finish their sentences, which is a positive way of saying we don't interrupt. And I, as your parent, will be teaching you about respect until I'm 90 or 100. So that's that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeannette. So next we'll go to Lynnette. Lynnette, would you share with us your approach to a stepchild who's being disrespectful?
Well, first of all, I want to say, I want to thank Dr. Lofas for teaching us the rules of the household. I might even have her book handy. I refer to it often, the Stepfamily Rules. But I want to focus on one of the first things that I do, and this is in real life, ladies, is it not? I learned in first responder training years ago, when you enter a scene or you're somewhere that is tense, your first reaction might be to tense up. But one of the first things that you do, exhale. You take a deep breath before those words come out of your mouth. Because sometimes we want to combat disrespect with disrespect. I have also found before I confront the issue itself, I exhale, and then sometimes I will need to get alone in a room by myself, calm down, and really think about the next steps. And then I will also involve my husband as well, and I will discuss with him our plan of action so that when we talk about the rules at our house, that it isn't just coming from me or him, we are a united front.
Thank you so much, Lynnette. Next, we'll go to Claudia. Claudia, share with us your approach to dealing with a disrespectful stepchild.
Well, this is a topic that I really like very much because I believe that being respectful is something that is like a treasure in a person who will open doors anywhere that child will go in the future and in the present. So I will suggest for the biological father to talk with the child and tell him how much he loves him, how much he treasured that child. But because of that, he wants to talk about the way he's being answered to his wife. That it doesn't seem like it's the same child. It seems like another person, and it's not what he's been taught. And I will suggest the father to put what he expects for him, like the way he will answer the wife. No yelling, no bad talking, no mocking, nothing of that, but respect. And also, I will suggest for the stepmother or stepfather to talk with the biological father and not intervene directly with the child, because it's the biological father who has that close relationship to the child and the authority and the prestige to talk and to really affect the behavior of the child. And after that, I would suggest for the couple to have some rules, and for the stepmother, when the father is not at home, to tell, you know, my love, your father and I have done these rules, and we need to accomplish, we need to do this, because it's written here in the fridge. Those are the rules of this house, and that is expected from you. That is the way I will suggest to do it.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Next, we have Christy. So we'd love to hear about your take on dealing with a disrespectful stepchild.
One of the first things that I endured as a stepmom was when my stepson said, I don't have to listen to you. You are not my mom. And at that point, my husband and I also united together to let him know, I'm not trying to replace your mom. I am a role model in our home, and we have rules. And we endured it again as an adult stepchild, and that was more difficult to deal with. But as long as we stay united, there's no ground to try to break that family dynamics that the other children were also seeing. So that's how we handled it.
So thank you. So next we'll ask Barry about your views on dealing with a disrespectful stepchild.
If a child was disrespectful, today I would, I would see that child as not being against me, but going through a lot of emotional trauma. A person that is really hurting. And so today, with what I know about mindfulness, I would really, I wish I had those tools 25 years ago, whatever it was, but I would really, instead of dealing with it on the rational level, validate that what their emotions are instead of that concept, of what they're going through before you start imposing rules on them, that they feel they're being heard and their emotions are. I would be starting with that. This is something I wouldn't have known. I never was divorced. My wife died. And I hadn't dated for 20 some odd years, and I had no rules for anything, other than acting out my own trauma, post-traumatic stress, so, I didn't have the awareness of, what I was going through and, that I would have had now. But I really think that before setting, rules and boundaries, you connect. That's what I would do. I try to connect to the emotions of what my stepchildren were going through. I had no problem with my stepson because I was love at first sight, Jeanette's son. We just had a very good thing. My kids were younger and didn't know how to deal with it. And I didn't know how to deal with them because I was going through my own trauma. And so I'm just saying, that's what I would look at now to really, acknowledge, validate what they're going through.
Yes.
Or I start I mean, that's how I would change it. It doesn't mean it would be love it, it would be perfect, you know what I mean? But going towards that, and it would take some time to do that, but that's how I would approach it.
So myself, I've dealt with disrespectful stepkids, and even my own son was disrespectful towards my husband. And so I think as a panel, we've all been through, or we've experienced having disrespectful children and stepkids. As a coach, how I approach this when I'm talking with clients is, have a conversation with your partner about what disrespect means to you and what it looks like. We all have different definitions of what that looks like. For one person, it may mean eye rolling is being disrespectful. For another person, it may mean nothing. So, I remember one client telling me that her stepkids were throwing towels in the kitchen while they were doing dishes, and she felt that was disrespectful. For her partner, her spouse, he thought nothing of it. So have a conversation defining what disrespect looks like for your household, for your home. And then have a conversation with the children, the kids, the stepkids, and have a conversation about what they feel disrespect looks like as well. I mean, having a conversation about what is being disrespectful is an important key in understanding and being able to identify what that looks like. And then, as many of you shared, you talked about rules. I talk about boundaries. Set some healthy boundaries around what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And then attach consequences to any behavior that is not set. And in order to help the kids think about being disrespecting or being disrespectful, share with them or ask them examples of when they were personally being disrespected by either a sibling, a schoolmate, even a parent. So this way they can internalize what it feels like. And then at that moment, it makes it easier to have a conversation about being disrespectful. So thank you everyone for sharing this important topic. And we look forward to coming again together soon. Bye.
Sure.